This fear of rejection, which we all carry around with us, and it manifests itself in so many ways every day. And yes, we have marketing companies who very cleverly manage to use that in order to convince us to buy something which may or may not be good for us. But it also shows up in every other area of our life. I deal with rejection every day. When you're a business owner, you can't not. Yeah. When you are dating, you can't not.
Welcome to Two Women, Wine and a Dollop of Truth, the hilarious and insightful podcast that gets real with you about love, health, life, and celebrates what it really means to be a woman in today's society. Your hosts, Emily Chadbourne, relationship expert and creator of the Forever Love Formula, and Kelly Bowen, world champion athlete and creator of the Exceptional Living Model. Have a glass of wine or two and share what's really working.
Hey guys, and welcome to Women, Wine and a Dollop of Truth, episode number 5. I am your co-host Kelly Bowen from Exceptional Living, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host.
Hello, it's Emily here, Emily Chadbourne from That Crazy Thing Called Love. Can't believe we're in episode 5 already. That happened in about 3.5 minutes. Time has powered through.
Yeah.
Talking of wine, I'm actually not drinking wine today because I'm still on a mega health kick, and I believe that, Kelly, you're joining me.
I am joining you. I've got my awesome bottle of spring water. I've just been for a walk out to go have breakfast and back. It was a good 45 minutes little experience plus breakfast. So yes, I've decided to join you on this one. I think it's just time. It's the perfect time coming into spring. Give the body a break, and so that it's ready for the fun season.
Yeah, absolutely. literally preparing bodies for fun season. Yeah. So don't worry, ladies, if you are listening to this with a glass of wine in your hand, we support you. If you're listening to this with a bottle of water in your hand, we support you. As long as you're making awesome, educated, healthy choices for yourself, rock on. And Kelly and I will definitely be back.
We will be
drinking the vino very soon.
Very soon. It was funny. I was going through with one of my girlfriends the other day. I was naming the months. So August is Awesome August. Then I was like, it can either be a slippery September or a superior September. Then I was going to have outrageous October. And I was like, maybe we could put in a naughty November.
You should definitely think about 2017 calendar.
And a either delightful or delectable December.
Can I have both?
Yeah. Why not?
I can have it all. Yes, I
can.
Yeah, awesome. So, Kel, what are we talking about today? Because we left the viewers last week we were talking about sugar, and you suggested that everyone go away and watch the sugar film. And it's, to be honest, do you want to just give the listeners and the viewers a really quick overview in case they haven't watched the sugar film?
Yep, so today, to answer your first question, today what we want to talk to you about is rejection. It's something that's been, I think both of us have been having these conversations within our own communities differently. I've been talking about the rejection of body, and you've been talking about the actual physical rejection of, what happens when you're on a date and
guy doesn't like you back. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, or
I love you. And then he says, "Oh, I'm not there," and you go, "Oh," and a bit of you on the inside dies.
Yeah, and I think that, and I think it's a cool topic to tie it back into what's come out from the sugar film. So I don't know, for those of you that have or haven't seen it, it was a link that that is up in the group, so do make sure you check it out. But the key message there is, when it comes to sugar, we're marketed like it is in absolutely everything, and unless you know how to read your labels, and unless you know all the other different words that they call sugar, you're eating it, you're not even realizing. And what was really cool about the sugar film was the guy, can't remember his name, but the guy that actually did it, I think it was a 6 or an 8 week experiment where he was going to eat exactly what the Heart Foundation or what was the national recommended diet for Australians, and he was going to eat it because that's what was considered healthy and had been given the tick from the Heart Foundation. Now, he was somebody who had more of a paleo lifestyle, so in context what that means is he just had a lot of high fats in his diet, very minimal or no refined sugars, or anything that's processed, so like refined flours, breads, sugars, that kind of stuff. So he really stayed away from that. Then he went on to this diet, which obviously had a lot more carbohydrate base in it. And for a lot of carbohydrates, like one carbohydrate isn't equal to another carbohydrate. However, carbohydrate all does become glucose in the blood, which essentially is sugar. And it's all about what the body has to do to turn it into sugar before it gets there. So a lot of the stuff that this guy was eating, like cornflakes and just your standard stuff, it was so full of sugar that in that 6-week period, he put on, I think it was something like 6 to 8 kilos. His liver started shutting down. Like, his health literally went out the window, and he was eating what he had been told to eat as a healthy Australian diet. And
that's just absolutely petrifying. I watched it kind of, you know, when you watch a horror movie and you're watching it with your fingers in front of your eyes with your fingers splayed, so that you can watch it but also not watch it at the same time. Because my resounding feeling at the end of it was, well, but how is this happening? How are we so marketable to that the marketing companies out there, the geniuses, let's be honest, have managed to market to us, here's something that's actually not particularly healthy for us. And that's partly because of ignorance, because we're not taught, like you said, we don't know the different words and the different language for sugars. So it's
and the marketing companies are clever. They are so clever. They will say fat-free, but it'll be loaded with sugar for flavour. If you take the fat out, something has to be there for the flavour.
Yeah. So how does this happen? What are they doing in order to convince us to buy this food that, to be honest, sometimes doesn't even taste very nice? Really artificial tasting sugar actually doesn't taste very nice, but we are encouraged to eat it, and we think we like it because everyone else around us is doing the same thing. So what is the psychology behind that? Well, how are we being sold repackaged sugar?
Well, I think there's two things. One, marketing companies, there's two things, though actually there's probably three things at play here. Like, firstly, that, you know, currently we're spending over, I think it's $674 million a year on weight loss. So, like, it's ridiculous. $674 million, it's more money than my brain can even comprehend. And you've got a third of that on weight loss services, and you've got a third of it on weight loss products. Now, you've got to ask, what's causing us to spend that kind of money? And I think it really comes down to the image that we've been sold is you have to look like XYZ to be acceptable. And if you don't look like acceptable, you're not enough. So then we start the psychology that starts triggering into are the three fundamental universal fears that all of us are susceptible to. And that's, one, I'm not going to be loved, I don't belong, and I'm not good enough. And the moment you start playing on these primal fears, these fears that, you know, back in times of terms how we evolved back 10,000 years ago, we would do everything in our power to be loved by our tribe, to belong to our tribe, and I've just forgot the third one.
And to be enough in the tribe.
Love, belong, and to be enough.
This is why there's two of us on the podcast.
That's brilliant. And the other one to be enough. And if these three things weren't met within our tribes back then, we would get kicked out of the tribe. And the moment that you're out of the sanctuary, God, I'm doing well today. The sanctity.
Maybe this is why we should be drinking wine.
Maybe this is exactly why we should be drinking wine. But once you're out of the sanctity of the tribe, then you're literally faced with the elements, and you're faced with the saber-toothed tiger. It wasn't like the way that we live now. If we were kicked out of the tribe, it's really not a big deal. We can take care of ourselves now. We can go find another tribe, but it wasn't like that back then. And the clever companies and the clever marketers know this, and they go straight for it. Like, it's why the weight loss industry is as big as it is, because they prey on these fears. They prey on the you're not enough. And ultimately, though, it's if you don't look like this, you're not enough to be loved. And the biggest need, and I'm sure you could probably even expand on this further, and with your market being dating, the thing that we all want more than anything else on the planet, people kill for this, is to be loved.
Yeah. It's connection. It's and again, it goes back to sort of, 10,000 years ago, is that we needed to feel connected in the tribe, to feel safe in the tribe. It's why we look for consistency, because consistency builds trust. And if we're trusted in the tribe and we trust the tribe around us, then we feel safe. It feels good. And we are wired, physically, biologically, chemically, hormonally wired, that if we sense that someone in the tribe isn't happy with us, someone in the tribe is distrustful of us or isn't to be trusted themselves, or we're getting the vibe that, oh, well, you're a bit different to everyone else, or you're not pulling your weight around here, or actually I don't like you very much. Physically, the feeling that we get, that feeling in our stomach of like,
rejection,
is our survival mechanism going, do something about this, man, really quickly, do something about this, apologise to who you need to apologise to, get better at whatever it is you need to get better at, or you're going to be on your own and you're going to be done. So we're constantly looking for connection. So many of my clients come to me because they're looking for one person, their soulmate, they're looking for their Prince Charming to come and create that void in them.
Feel that void. We're on fire today.
That would be the not dating coach. But really what we're looking for and what my clients are looking for is connection. And connection, yes, that could be with a sexual partner, it could be with your, future husband, it could be... But I have lots of connection in my life.
Yeah.
I feel, Kelly, you and I have become exceptionally great friends. And so you and I have this awesome connection. I have connection with different friends, create, different emotions in me, and I go to them for different things. So it really is about being part of a community and feeling part of a community. And I think sometimes the marketing, especially when it comes to weight loss, they market that very well as well. Take this diet pill, lose all this weight, so go from being slightly overweight and at home on your own, take this diet pill, and then cut to bright, lovely, shiny, look at her now socialising with all these people, and there's a man who loves her, and she's in colour suddenly, and it's like the old infomercial thing, isn't it? Black and white is colour, as you are socially accepted in the world around you because you've bought X, Y, or Z product. And it's working, unfortunately. It's working, because if it wasn't working, it wouldn't be making so much money, and we wouldn't have this epidemic of people just feeling really shit about themselves because they're a size 12.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And putting on weight, even though they're eating the stuff that we're being told is healthy.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. It's really not their fault. But there is just so much money in this industry. And it does. It all comes out. We just don't want to be rejected. We don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. We want to have those three things met. We want to be loved. We want to feel good enough, and we want to feel like we belong. It's just, it's insane the way, but they get it. They nail us on it every time.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's all the wrong messaging.
Yeah. So what do we do about it? That's the key, isn't it? So this fear of rejection, which we all carry around with us, and it manifests itself in so many ways every day. And yes, we have marketing companies who very cleverly manage to use that in order to convince us to buy something, which may or may not be good for us. But it also shows up in every other area of our life. I deal with rejection every day. When you're a business owner, you can't not. Yeah. When you are dating, you can't not. I remember someone once saying to me, an old client of mine, in one of our very first sessions, and I said, what do you think might be one of the roadblocks that's holding you back from finding, the man of your dreams? And she said, well, I don't want to get rejected. And I was like, well, it's kind of part of the game. I totally get it. But it's part of the game of life. It's definitely part of the game of dating. You cannot think, I've got a dating coach now. I'm going to go out on one date and the guy's going to fall dramatically in love with me. But it's also part of the game of life. It is. If you can get a handle on rejection, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, about the ways of actually doing that, some tangible takeaways that the viewers and listeners can actually start implementing immediately to make rejection less petrifying, and something that can be broken down a little bit. I think the moment you understand something and you understand why it is the way it is, it's much easier to deal with. Yeah. But rejection crops up everywhere. And the better that you get at reframing it, and what I mean by reframe is, well, I could make this mean that I'm not enough, that I don't belong, that I'm not loved, or I could make it mean X, Y, or Z. Because the reality is, there are no saber-toothed tigers these days. No. We're not fighting for our lives anymore. If the guy next to you doesn't like you, you're not going to die. And although it feels like you might at the time, the reality is you're not. Yeah. Yeah. So
I think too, it's like we've evolved from human animal to I think there's two components of us. There's the human animal part, which is the one that's really triggered and driven by these fears. And then there's the human spirit part of us, which is the one that can make these rational decisions and can actually look at it and go, okay, what am I really feeling here? I get that these situations, particularly when there's feelings involved, that I'm going to have to deal with the human animal part of me, which thinks it's about to die in this moment. Yeah. However, but because I know better, what if we were to have one of my clients, and she's got her own, what's her business now? Unique Yourself, Katie McDonald. I remember she called me.
I love Katie.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love
She's
Katie.
awesome.
She's so funny. I remember I called her one day. I always love, never know what's going to come out of her mouth. We'll have to have her on the show one day. But she goes, I call her like, hey, how are you? And she's like, I'm just dealing with a little bit of rejection. But I'm going to call it rejection is just redirection. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Like, it's just, it's
rejection is just redirection.
Rejection is just redirection. And ever since then, it's always been like a little tune that's played in the back of my head, especially when I'm thinking about doing things that are putting myself out there or I'm stepping outside my comfort zone. And it doesn't just have to be in the area of dating where you're doing this, but this will show up in your professional life. And it shows up too, like when you're looking at your body, like this is constantly something that's going on. Like if you're not accepting and loving of your body, you're constantly triggering off these fears for yourself. You're constantly in survival mode.
Yeah, and the knock-on effect of that then means that things like dating become very overwhelming, changing jobs might become very overwhelming, parenthood feels very overwhelming. And again, it goes back to, aren't we always, specifically women, comparing the worst bits of ourselves to the best bits of other people?
Yep.
You know, parenting websites, all full of great dating hints and tips, and let's all be like Gwyneth Paltrow. Well, we're not. We're all a bit more messy than that, actually. That's the reality. And the more that we compare ourselves to people who are beautifully shot in a beautiful studio and play out their life on social media for us all,
and the background music,
we don't see their messy bits. We don't see their fear of rejection, their fear of not being enough. We just see, oh, look, this is the way we should be doing it. This is the way we should be eating. This is the way we should be dating. And we're not getting those things because we don't actually realistically trust in ourselves. And because of that, we then spiral even further down this feeling of, oh my God, this feels really awful. And it feels really awful because we're biologically programmed to be scared for our lives. But the reality is, that emotion is completely without point. It has no valid. Am I going to make up a word now?
Validation. Validity. There we go.
Validity. Oh, so close, Em. So close.
So close. So should we jump into the how we deal with this? How we deal with this human animal part of our brain and really leverage the human spirit part of our brain so that we can, rather than rejection being something that stops us, is how we can use it as redirection to put us on the course that we're meant to be on. And the other way that I like to think of it as, all paths lead to the same place anyway. Just sometimes, sometimes it just doesn't seem like that. Yeah, I got it out of a movie. I can't remember what it was, but it was one of those movies, and they just had that like the kind of moment. And it was, they were saying how all paths always lead to the same place. You can't take a wrong turn. Like even if I was to look back over my life and some of the crazy shit I've done, but if I actually look at another webinar. Yeah, that's another story for another time.
Series.
Yeah. But if I actually look back over each like significant life event, and at the time, like, you know, some of the horrors that were happening at the time, and if I actually look back in the pain which I was dealing with, some of this rejection stuff and like being outcast from my tribes and stuff, if I was actually to look back over it and see how every one of those collective experiences and where that like I guess the bifurcation point, like the friction point where that shot me off into, and how those accumulative experiences have all led to now. And if I hadn't have had those moments, and if I hadn't have had my character tested in those points, and if I hadn't learned to grow beyond what that was, there's no way I'd be sitting here having this conversation with you.
No.
There's no way. So I think it's really important that we learn really how to get out of our human animal brain and start leveraging some part of our human spirit and know some of the questions that's going to have us get there faster. So we're not left
what I'm hearing you say there, Kel, is that rejection keeps you stuck. The fear of being rejected, the fear of saying something that other people might not agree with, even though it's your truth. The fear of changing career paths, but being absolutely petrified that you're not going to get the job that you want, or you're not going to be a success in the field that you want to get into. Those feelings are keeping us stuck. And however, if anyone is at home listening to this now and they're like, I feel stuck, I feel like my life's not going anywhere, I feel like I've got no direction, I don't know what my purpose is, I'm feeling really flat, I didn't think life would turn out like this. At some point you have been governed by your fear of rejection and it has kept you in the same space of safety. But the space of safety gets very, very uncomfortable after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So really learning how to take rejection and make it something that can propel you forward as opposed to keep you where you are, I think is going to be really awesome for the listeners today.
Yeah, brilliant. So should we give them one for each? One for dating, one for health, and one for career?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the dating one? I'm joking.
I was actually thought about it for a moment. I was like, hang on, is that a new question?
Unprepared for this. So when it comes to dating, I've got this great friend. Her name's Nicola, and she's...
I love Nicola. She's amazing. She's
all
hilarious.
Of the energy of the world.
Yeah.
And she has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way of reframing life. And it's one of her sort of favourite success principles. When I talk about success principles, there are a selection of them. Anything, basically, that you believe in that is going to make your life better is a success principle. So Nicola's favourite is there is no meaning, nothing has any meaning other than the meaning that we give it. And she uses this
100%.
all the time, every day, and she uses it really beautifully. She was swiping through Tinder the other day.
Tinder.
Already it's a funny
for
story.
A Tinder fella.
And as you swipe through Tinder, you can swipe.
Yeah.
And if you like someone, you swipe the other way.
Yeah.
And if they have already liked you back, then it comes up with a match. And
It's
you
a
can
match.
then...
Yeah.
And you
The
can then
dopamine goes
continue a
wild.
dialogue with them. Yeah. If they haven't selected you, if they haven't gone, oh, this person looks nice, then it doesn't come up with a match. But it might be that they select you later on down the line, or, you know, they look at your profile later down the line. So she was swiping away, and she was like, oh, this guy looks nice. And she showed me the profile, and I was like, oh, he does look nice. So she swiped, and we both sat there waiting, and that's, you know, there's like 2-3 second gap. The app works out whether or not he has already liked you or not. And so we were waiting, expecting it to be like, you've got a match. And nothing came. It was like radio, so it's like tumbleweed of just Nick and I just looking at the phone, where she'd obviously said, I like this guy, and he hasn't liked her back. And she just looked at me and she went, do you know what? He just hasn't seen my profile yet. And I thought, so she could have gone two ways with that. She could have gone, all right, this guy has looked at my profile, looked at my photos, read my bio, found out about me, and then rejected me by not swiping me. Or she went with, he just hasn't seen my profile yet. He hasn't seen me yet. I haven't come up through his swiping chain yet. In order for him to reject me, or for him not to swipe me. And I thought, which is right and which is wrong? Like, what's the reality here? And it occurred to me there is no reality. The reality is whatever Nicola wants that reality to be. Does that make sense? So
100%.
in Nicola's world...
It's funny, I do that one too.
She just hasn't seen her profile yet. So there is no feeling of, oh, he's looked at my profile and doesn't like me. She just has not even allowed for that to be an option in her world. Does it matter whether it's real or not real? It's not. That's of no consequence, because the reality in Nicola's world is she doesn't feel shit about herself.
Yep.
And I thought that was such an awesome reframe. He just hasn't seen my profile yet. That's it. Not, oh my god, I've liked someone and they haven't liked me back, therefore I feel rejected. And I thought, God, I'm stealing that and using it.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's funny. I do that as well. Like, if there's a really hot one when I've been swiping and they don't, and I'm like, oh, they just haven't seen it yet. And then, like, surely enough that surely enough though. Like a day or so later, a few hours later, pa-ching, it's like,
you've got a match.
I can find out who, and I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, and he hadn't seen my profile yet.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I say this to my ladies all the time. So I quite often get, Friday afternoons are always really interesting times for me, because I quite often get the, oh my god, I'm going on a date tomorrow night, and I'm all of a sudden shitting myself about it, help me. So I always kind of clear Friday afternoons for those sorts of conversations. And here's the thing I always say, I think if you are, and this is going to sound very simple, it's not necessarily easy and it does take work, if you have the landscape around you, if you've built the environment around you whereby you are really aware of your values, so what it is that you value, what it is that you hold dear, and what you need emotionally in your life to feel happy on a consistent basis, if you're really aware of that, if you know what it is that you want, if you've got a vision in your mind of how you want your life to be, the sorts of people that you want to ride with, the sorts of people that you want to surround yourself with, if you're really clear on that and really strong on that and you're really sure of your own epicness, and that's not to say I've achieved everything I want to achieve, I've earned all the money I ever want to earn, I'm hilarious all the time, I'm not saying that, but it's being pretty cool with yourself. When you go on a date or when you're interacting with anyone, when you're experiencing connection, and I'll use dating, but we could be using this in any so when
Friends,
we're hanging out with other people, parties where you don't know anyone, or, you know, networking events, business events, whatever it might be. What you're doing, instead of going to this event or going to this date and sitting down in front of another human being and thinking to yourself, oh my God, I hope he likes me. Oh my God, am I enough? Oh my God, will he think I'm funny? Oh my God, am I wearing the right outfit? Does he fancy me? Instead of going with that attitude, how about you go in with, all right, mate, what have you got to offer me? Are you going to complement my already existing awesome life or not? Because if you're not, you don't get to come and ride with me.
Yeah.
And when you approach dating like that, all of a sudden, the fear of rejection goes away. And when the fear of rejection goes away, something else funny really happens. You have this beautiful license to really be all of who you are. Mm. So I have, this is quite a common thing that I hear quite a lot from my clients and just generally from my market, which is, why am I such an awesome person until someone I fancy walks in the room? When I fancy walks into the room, I turn into an utter tit.
Brilliant. Oh, I loved it.
And the reality is, we've all done that. We all do that. And it's because the moment that there's someone that we fancy, we immediately start projecting onto them everything that we want in another human being. And half the time they haven't even proven themselves that they are that way anyway. And it really is. It's this, you need to reframe that. It's not, here's someone I like the physical look of, God, I hope they like me back. It's, you look like a really interesting person. Are you going to be a right fit to me in my world, in my life, with the crew I've surrounded myself with the awesome stuff that I'm doing day in, day out? Because you know what? My environment is precious to me. The people I have in my life are precious to me. I am awesome. They are awesome. You have got to prove your own awesomeness to come and hang out in my pack. Not, oh fuck, I really like this guy and I want to sell myself to him.
Yeah.
Because that's when you put yourself in the pathway of rejection. When you are trying to convince another person of your awesomeness, you are opening yourself up to the feeling of rejection. If you are just friggin' awesome in your own life, in your own right, in your own mind, then it's not rejection, it's and I don't mean this as harsh as it's going to come out. It's almost you rejecting them and not the other way around.
Yeah, and I think what I really like about the way you set that up is the human animal part of us. You know, when we're, will you like me? Do you like me? Will I fit in with you? That's the human animal part of us talking. Yeah, love me. It's the human animal part of us talking. And, you know, 10,000 years ago, we needed to find a partner. We needed to find someone to take care of us. So it would make sense.
As women, we needed to do that 100 years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. It wasn't even that long ago we stopped doing that. But it makes sense why. That when, you know, we put a man in front of us that we find halfway attractive, the animal part of us is going to kick in. Our biology is going to kick in. But I really like the way that you've reframed that, and you start to use the part of the human spirit, which is where you're talking about, you know, okay, well, this is who I am. This is how awesome my life. All the people in it are awesome. You know, do you fit? That's the human spirit talking. That's the person who can make conscious, rational decisions, not the human animal part.
Yeah.
The human animal part is like a crocodile. You can't reason with crocodile.
No, it's just going to snap.
Yeah.
And you don't know when it's going to happen.
No, but you know it will.
But it's inevitable that it will. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, what about health, Cal?
Health. Well,
I am definitely not the person to be answering that question.
Well, So I ran an event last Sunday that you were at as well, and it was called Loveable Body. And this is where I think for most of us, and particularly the marketing and what we've been told is beautiful, sets us up to reject ourselves, because all the marketing is about, if you are not X, then you are not good enough, so you are not loved. So we grow up from a very young age, we start to receive this message, so we start to reject the one part of us which is our most valuable asset. Like at this event, I asked my group, what is your number one prized possession? What is your number one asset? And for the whole group, there was only one person that actually got this, and it was because they were playing sport, like a high-end level sport, that they actually got that their number one prized possession, their number one asset is their body. And it's their body because, you're going to live. If you're a guy, you're going to live to your 80. If you're a woman, you're going to live to your about 84. But this is a standard life expectancy.
That's not a promise.
No, it's not a promise. But this is the average life expectancy.
Promise, guys. Don't worry. We're all here till 84.
Yeah. But you're roughly, though, this is what you're going to. This is the amount of time that you're going to be in your body. Now, the more you reject your body, the more you come up with reasons why it's bad and wrong, the more you put poisons in it. So sugars, refined foods, toxins, external things like certain things within your environment, not putting enough water in your body. The more that you reject your body and do crazy things like try and take certain hacks to make your body look a certain way, like the 6-week challenge or the lemon juice detox diet or the this or the that.
Food.
Yeah, to make your body look like the pictures so that you feel good enough. The more that you're rejecting your body and the more that you're creating a separation, and the more you're taking away from your quality of life. So the way that I like to think of this one is to have this switch with health. So instead of the body being something that you're rejecting and pushing against, and you look in the mirror and you can find a million reasons why you don't like yourself, to really embrace the body and flip it so that you actually get, instead of it being how I want to look in 6 weeks and have a bikini body, change it to ideal body. Have an ideal body, which is you want to be full of a body that's full of energy and full of life, and that when you do older life, you're not a statistic. The statistics are 1 in 2 men are meant to get cancer, 1 in 3 women are meant to get cancer, and that's because of what we're putting in our body. Because we don't know how to take care of it, we reject it, we do bad things to it, and half the time we don't even realize we're doing it. Like with even what the sugar film showed. So it's
ironic, isn't it, that what we're doing is rejecting our body in order to avoid rejection.
Yeah, it's insane. When you think about it like that, it's crazy. Like it blows my mind. But when you make the shift of, rather than wanting the bikini body, making the shift to your ideal body and all the things that come with that, like your body is able to give you pleasure beyond your wildest dreams. It's just we're not taught how to do that. The pain centers within us have been so developed. What we're capable of experiencing through our 5 senses is just phenomenal. Yeah. Have you ever stopped on one of the first warm days of spring just to feel the sun on your skin?
And I did it the day before yesterday. Actually, it was glorious.
Isn't it?
Just went to the botanical gardens and just hung out in the sun, and I was like, "This is phenomenal."
Yeah, it's incredible.
Having those moments of clarity almost, and when you can just appreciate what you already have around you. And I guess we're spiraling very quickly again back to gratitude, and there's a reason that you and I always end up back there.
We always end up back there.
It bloody works.
It's that magic pill, the red or blue pill.
It is the magic pill. If you're looking for the magic pill, it's gratitude. And to use gratitude to take us from a feeling of rejection to a feeling of redirection is really powerful. So what is the blessing? What is the gift in maybe not getting that job or not marrying that guy or how many times have you gone for a job and not got it and felt really rejected and that feeling of like, oh, I'm not good enough, I was not good enough for that job, and then out of nowhere this other job comes along that's even more suited to you and you're like, oh, thank God I didn't get that other job. And all of a sudden, because you've applied gratitude to be thankful that you didn't get it, all of a sudden that feeling of rejection has completely gone away. And it's not because someone else has accepted you, because the rejection hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that the way that you're looking at it now has completely changed. So it doesn't feel like rejection anymore. It feels like, oh, that was God, I got out of that luckily, didn't I? Or my gosh, isn't it lucky I escaped that job? or insert anything here, relationship, investing money in a program, or investing money in a PT, whatever it might be.
Yeah, 100%. And just to wrap up that thing with like really shifting from rejecting your body to accepting it is get clear with the kind of lifestyle you want to have and all the joys that your body's going to bring you. So, if you're somebody who wants to have kids, it's your body that's going to be able to bring that life force into the world for you. Like really connect with all the amazing things that your body allows you to do. And I know it's that cheap tidbit line, your body is your temple. But the truth of the matter is, it is. And if your body's not with you to the end of the line, it is literally going to be like you're living in hell. Like for anybody who has ever been into a nursing home or have grandparents in a nursing home and you see what they have to go through because they didn't take care of their body, or they've got some kind of illness, or have you ever actually had an injury where you haven't been able to walk, and as soon as something happens with the body, you soon realize just how important it is. But start getting it now, not once there's something wrong. And it's the key shift between the rejection and the acceptance.
Yeah, and it's so true actually, because your body is your temple. It is true. I mean, it's a not saying for a reason, is because so many people have said it, and the reason so many people have said it is because it's true. And it's the same when it comes to our relationship with ourselves. You're born into a body, and it is the only body that you are ever going to have until the day you die. And the relationship that you're born into is also the only relationship that I guarantee is going to stick out with you to the day you die, is the relationship you have with yourself. Mm-hmm. And so in order to cultivate those things and to holistically bring them together so that you can feel awesome and empowered, being able to say, I'm cool with this. You can't reject me because I don't reject myself.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a game changer. And the reason that's a game changer is because then you can start taking more risks. And I'm not like, hey, you can start jumping out of a plane. That's not but you can approach the guy at the bar that maybe you wouldn't normally have had the confidence to approach because you were scared of rejection. Because now you're approaching out of curiosity. Because your life is so awesome that you're like, hey, you look really interesting. I wonder if you're going to be a right fit for my life. Not, I could never go and approach someone that looks like Brad Pitt because I don't feel like I'm enough in my body and as a human being.
And I really like that too. Instead of bringing the will you like me to the table, bring curiosity to the table.
Yeah.
Curiosity is a very, very different state of being. It's so, how do you fit in? Who are you?
Who are you? What do you do? What do you like doing?
What about
that's
you?
Awesome. I like doing that as well.
Yeah.
This is something a little bit more interesting.
Yeah. What else can I do with my body? And in terms of career, like get it. You touched on it beautifully before. It's just rejection in that sense is redirection. Like there's countless stories about how people, when one business went bust, it then led them down this path, and they got this awesome opportunity and created something else. Like. I remember Vishen Lakhiani. I'm reading his book at the moment, Code of Extraordinary Mind, and he talks about his entrepreneurial journey. And right at the end of the dot-com like boom bust, it was right. The boom went, and it was right before the bust. He got a loan from his parents. He went to Silicon Valley to start this amazing business. It went bust. The whole company went bust. He ended up renting a couch off a uni student. There was a 2-seater couch that he didn't even fit on properly. But from that, it led him down the path of meditation to now, which he's got Mind Valley, and Mind Valley does Awesomeness Fest, and it's one of the biggest personal development empires on the planet. It's just phenomenal what they do now. But if he didn't have, if those dots weren't joined that way, never would have got there.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, and do you know what it is? It's about being forced out of safety sometimes, I think. Rejection keeps us in a comfort zone. The fear of rejection, it's why people stay in really shit relationships, is because the fear of not feeling like you're part of something, or putting yourself out there again into the dating abyss and feeling like you might get rejected. It's why people stay in a spiral of trying to sort their health out but not being able to do it, is because they're being sold by marketing companies on their fear of rejection, so they're not actually doing what is right for their body. They're doing what they're being told to do by somebody who might not actually have their best interests at heart, which is devastating, but a topic for another time. And it's the same with career as well. It's like, well, I'm absolutely petrified of going for that job in case I don't get it. And no one has ever on their deathbed laid there and gone, I'm so glad I didn't put that job application in. I'm so glad that I stayed in the same office for 40 years surrounded by the same people, without developing myself, without growing, without contributing, without experiencing the beauty of life, working for a company that I didn't adore, I'm really glad I stayed safe. No one ever said that the moment before they died.
Yep.
Ever.
Yep.
So learning to deal through, and yes, okay, maybe you didn't get that job. Maybe you did go for a job and you didn't get it. You could sit there, be Nicola.
Yeah.
Be Nicola in that situation, because you can sit at home and go, oh man, I didn't get the job, I'm not good enough. Or you can sit at home and go, hey, I didn't get the job. There is going to be a great gift in that for me, and I cannot wait to see what else is going to come along in its place. And I'm thankful that I didn't get that job. I don't know why yet, but it is going to come to fruition later on, and I trust in that.
Yep.
I would rather live in that reality. You always have a choice what reality you live in. I'd rather live in that reality where I'm not quite sure where the gift is yet, but I believe that it's coming. Or I believe that he hasn't seen my Tinder profile yet.
Yeah.
And, you know, that, or you know, having educated myself enough to know that my body is I'm never going to grow an extra foot, Kel. Apparently, I've asked every doctor in the land, and apparently it's not a thing. You can't actually stretch 5'2" to be 6 foot.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm always, you know, there are bits of me that are always going to be slightly flabbier than other bits. There are bits of me that I'm always going to be aware when I get dressed in the morning that I want to cover up or I want to redirect the eye from. But I'm cool with that now.
Yeah.
It's taken me a while, and it's something that I work on every single day. It's, you know, it's not like I'm here. Oh, I never have to experience rejection again. That's not what we're saying. Rejection comes up every single day, but every day I make a choice to sit in a world where I feel rejected, or to use gratitude to get myself to a place to know that something better is going to come along.
Yep.
As a result of not getting that job, not going on that date, or, you know, not seeing a guy for a second date. Yeah, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I think that's really it. So if we were to wrap it up and to leave them with the 3 things that, you know, when it comes to dating, bring curiosity to the table. You know, ask yourself, you know, get clear on who you are, and does this person fit into your life? Are they a match? Are they worth bringing into your world? And instead of them interviewing you, you're interviewing them. It's such a different shift in it. And in terms of your health and your body, you know, get that your body is your number 1 asset. You're going to have it, on average, statistically speaking, until you're in your 80s. Like, and end game, guys, what kind of body do you want to be living in then? That's what you're working towards. That's what you're creating. Not something that looks good in a bikini in 6 weeks that you've had to damage on a fundamental level to get into it. Like, it's just not worth it. And the thing,
and then still not feel great about it anyway, because here's the thing.
And then binge afterwards. And get those, not just the 5 kilos back, but another couple as well as interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I lost 5 kilos before. Let me see if I can lose 10.
And thirdly, with career, again, bring curiosity in there. If something's not working out for you, just think, okay, well, obviously rejection is redirection. There is something better out there for me. Like, I even know my sister recently just got a new job, and she went through several different interviews to it. And the funny thing was, she was like, I want to work in IT. I want a base of 85, and I want X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? She kept getting rejected, and guess what? The job that she's got now is exactly everything she could possibly want, with the potential of, you know, in 12 months' time, she having a lot of freedom within that role. So it was literally everything to the T that she wanted, but she got rejected several times before she got there, and she never gave up. She just kept going, and eventually, you know, when the shoe fits, the shoe fits.
Yeah. The thing with rejection is it ties in really well with another success principle, which I know you and I use every single day as business owners, which is that there really isn't, it's not failure, it's feedback.
Yeah.
So if something happens and you haven't gotten the result, it's feedback about how to go and do that in a different way the next time. And that mantra basically has been the thing that's kept me in business at times where I felt like I couldn't do it, or I wasn't doing it properly, or I wasn't doing well enough. And rejection's the same thing. It's not rejection, it's redirection. So trust, and I'm not one of those people that thinks you should just surrender to the universe and let anything happen. Like, you still got to pay your rent, still got to pay your bills, still got to be proactive, you've got to know where you're going. But sometimes you have got to trust trust a little bit that
Yeah.
the path that you're meant to be on is still there, and you might not quite know where that is yet, but take some action towards creating it. Because if you're on a path, then you're on a path. If you're looking for a path or waiting for a path because you're scared of trying a path that might not be right for you, then you're just going to stay not on a path at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So redirection, it's not rejection. It's
just redirection.
Redirection. Be
to
grateful
the
for
right
it. It means you're growing.
Yeah.
It really does. It means you're growing, and the universe will never give you anything that you cannot handle.
Yeah, and that's the truth. That is the
You
honest
can really,
truth.
really handle not getting that job if you go for it. If you don't get that job, you're not going to die.
No.
It's okay.
Yeah, it is really
It's just
okay.
a job. Yeah.
And I guess on that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us for episode 5. We're going to ask you to do the same 3 things that we do at the end of every episode. So, 1, please, jump over onto the Facebook group with us, Women, Wine, and a Doll of the Truth. Hang out. Let's continue the conversation. Maybe tell us if you've got some stuff in regards to rejection where either you'd like a little bit of support or maybe some triumph stories. Would love to hear some stories where you've taken this and tried this and, the difference it's made for you or how this has impacted and shifting the way that you're experiencing life. Secondly,
and also, can I just add one more thing there as well? Like, if you having listened to this podcast, if you have sat there and gone, oh my God, this whole time I've been thinking I was rejected from X, Y, or Z, and it's just light bulb momented you when you're like, oh, actually, if I look at it this way, please let us know.
Oh, yes, that's very exciting.
I really want to hear those I want to hear all stories. But, the stories of women who have gone, oh, it wasn't. And actually, I can see now that if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't broken up with him, I wouldn't be with my current partner now, and we've got this awesome family.
Yep.
You know how many people are in successful relationships but who still can't let go of past rejection?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the gift? I want to hear the gift stories.
Yep. So 1, please jump over into the Facebook group if you're not already there, Women, Wine, Doll of Truth Hangout. Tell us what's going on for you. Let's continue the conversation. Secondly, please download us please download us on YouTube. Like us, subscribe. We really, really want to get to know one. We want to get this message out there. We want to grow our community and having like-minded women together. And our third thing, Em?
Our third thing is tell all your girlfriends about us. The more the merrier. We are all about community. We talked a bit today about connection, and the more that we can involve ourselves and as many other people as possible in groups like this, the more we can feel that rejection. The more we feel connection. That was
We've been on
really
fire today.
down there. See, that could have been me feeling failure, but I didn't. It was just feedback to get my word right next time. The more that we can feel connection and the more connection that we have around us, the more we feel part of a group and a movement and a community, the less rejection has a hold on us, because we've already got our backup crew.
Yeah,
I've got this awesome backup crew. That means that I can take chances now.
Love it.
In a way I couldn't before.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Bye.